Hi everyone. If you just happen to be watching me on YouTube, I'm sorry. StreamYard's got this weird thing. If we change the time on a broadcast, it like cancels it on Facebook, but it doesn't tell me till I come live. Like I've been in the studio for half an hour. It doesn't tell me till I come live. Then I have to stop it. But in the time I stop it, it's already published me on Facebook, which is hysterical. So now I've got Jane trying to delete my last 23-second video where I'm basically swearing. And now it won't let her delete it. So there's a 23-second video currently on my YouTube of me just ranting about it. But I can't see it either. I can see where I'm live. So anyway, good afternoon, not good morning. I've seen lots of you today. So we had our networking and training session this morning, which was great. There were a couple of new people there. And after I left, one of the women, Sharon, in fact, hi, said like it feels like the most buzzy one for ages. And it was a really interesting topic, actually, because we were talking about imposter syndrome. And it was loads of fun and really reminds me some of the stuff that I do and I can see I do and I kind of sabotage myself with, and really reminds me about what I can choose to stop doing. Me and Jade are still looking for this YouTube video. Oh, I think she's done it. All right, so today we're going to talk about how to attract new customers. And this is a really interesting topic because loads of you have said lately that you feel like your reach has dropped, that you're not getting as many inquiries through Google. I've just been speaking to someone who says her Google ads don't seem to be working the way they have been working in the past. So I'm going to talk about like the stuff I do and the stuff that's kind of recommended that you do to get new customers. So if you're on, come and say hi. Let me switch my comments on actually because they weren't on. Come and say hello. And if you've got any questions, feel free to ask them. If you're watching on replay, put them in and tag me on the replay. So the first one, and the one that I watch people not do over and over and over again, is ask for referrals. Like this is such an easy way to get new customers, is to ask your current customers to refer you, to tell their friends and family about you. If you know you're providing them a good service, one of the interesting things is customers will often, it depends what it is, like it's not so bad for product-based businesses, but for service-based, customers will often not tell people about you because they almost want to keep you for themselves because they're scared if you get too busy, you won't have time for them, which is fascinating and totally, Jade says she gets that, totally like a reverse, what am I trying to say? It's a messed up way of viewing things. But if you tell your customers you want referrals, they're far more likely to go out and do them for you. Just like if you ask for testimonials, most people will not leave you a testimonial like out of choice. But if you ask for one, they often will. So ask them to refer their friends and families. But also see if there is a way that you can, and I'll talk about this right at the end, reward them for referring people to you. If there's something that you can do. So if a customer comes from you, you'll get 10% off our next session or whatever it is, but give them a good, valid reason to pass people into your network. Just ask. Like the first one that I could ever give to you is just ask people for more people. It's fascinating, but especially as women, we don't like to ask. We really, really shy away from that. So that's number one. Number two is something I've been banging on about this morning. And it was really interesting, actually, because we had somebody new at networking who said a specific line about she hates networking because everyone's really stuck up. And we had a bit of a chat about the idea. I hate networking. I detest it because often when you go to a networking event, people are there to give you their business cards and swap details. But all they want to know is almost how you can help them. Everyone that goes to networking or to lots of networking events is all very much like, how can you help me? And it's a messed up thing, like this idea of a transactional relationship. I hate it. I hate that there's, I'll give you one, you give me one, so to speak. This idea that if you can go into networking with this idea of how can I help other people, the referrals that will come from that are massive. But I think about how you can be of service, you build relationships, and that is exactly what my sessions are about and exactly what I've been preaching this morning. And almost of the women in that room today, it was all about how can we support each other? How else can we help each other? One of them walked in and the other one accused her of helping her put on £6 because she'd made a cake for her daughter's birthday. And all of this referral stuff, it happens naturally. You start using each other, but you start telling each other about, oh, I know somebody who does that. I know a company that does that. And that's networking, where you're building actual proper relationships, where you want to refer these people on. That is not the same as strolling around with your business cards trying to see how people can help you. If you find a good networking event that works for you and actively supports you, that's everything. Number 3, offer discounts and incentives for new customers. Now, this is a really, really tricky one because you want to keep your current customers loyal, but this specific training is talking about new customers. So in terms of getting new customers, how do you get them in the door? So an introductory offer for new customers. Find the ones that are curious, that are sort of interested, that might be opening your emails but aren't buying. Target them specifically with a discount offer. Give them a low risk way to try your product if that's what you want to do. Track which ones redeem your special offer and then target them again with marketing to build your relationship with them, and make sure if they do use their special offer that you give them really great service so that they become a regular customer. Discounts and incentives. So it doesn't have to be a discount. It can be an incentive as well, something that's an additional, a positive thing. So book an hour session, get half an hour free, whatever it is. Book a massage, get an upgrade to an extra thing. It can be an incentive for new customers. So it doesn't necessarily have to cost you actual money. It can be something that's a small addition to it. But go specifically after for your first session only. If you're a new customer ordering a product-based business, you could include something extra. So Donna sells skirts, you could include a free scrunchie in a new customer's order, for example. Another one that is a bit of a cheat about how to get new customers, but recontact some of your old ones. New customers, I mean, old customers can be new again. If they haven't done business with you for a while, go through your database, go through your old clients, your old customers, and see if you can regain them with a special offer via email again. They'll be glad you remembered them. See if you can talk to them personally, and if they're still a good fit for you as a customer, see if you can bring them back, because it might be that someone exhausted your stock. So again, if I think about Donna with the skirts, you can only have so many skirts. If they've exhausted your stock in theory, you could go back to them with a different type of product, or in a year when loads of new stuff's come out, new programs are popular, there's different things you can be advertising, you can go back to them with new things. Old customers are often completely left, they're completely forgotten about, and they can be really, really valuable source. This morning I was talking about how I used to follow a coach and I almost outgrew her for a little while. And it's like we've both gone full circle now, and she's now doing exactly what I want to do next, but it's not what I wanted to do before. So it's like we've both come full circle. So I'm almost back in her community again now, because she fits me again now, but she didn't fit me for a while in the middle. And that idea that you can make old customers new again is really, really important. Improve your website. So again, this is such a small, you almost don't feel like it aligns with customers, but the idea that new customers, especially cold customers, will find you through social media or search, almost certainly, or recommendation. Search you have so much control over that you don't often maximize. So give your website a once over, make sure it's telling people exactly what you want to tell them. Make sure you've got your SEO done. If you haven't refreshed your SEO for a long time, consider having a look at it. It's one of the things we've started redoing again in our business and for businesses as well. So make sure that if people are searching for you, that you're found, especially if you're a local business, make sure that you're coming up. Another really, really good way, again, that's a missed opportunity so much of the time, is partner with a complementary business. So join forces with someone who aligns nicely, that has a similar customer base, but isn't directly competitive with you. And have a bit of a strategy about how you can target each other's customers to drive business to each other. So you could do a Facebook session in someone's group. You could offer a discount for them to email to their customers. So you're not taking their email list, you're not breaking GDPR, but you're asking them to send out something on your behalf that will in turn entice them over to your business. But it's something that gives them real value and has to work both ways. So you want to find a business that's of a similar size, so that it feels that it's valuable for both business owners. And there's loads of different people that you can pair up with. And sometimes you have to get a bit creative about what you might do there. So for example, I might go out into mum groups and do a talk on imposter syndrome or confidence or something like that. And a mum might come into my group and do talks on I don't know, nutrition or something that's not competitive to what I do, complementary, but targeting the same kind of people. So if they're targeting females and I'm targeting females, naturally it will work for both of us. And as long as I felt like I was allowing someone in who was giving my customers value, then I'm cool with that. But it has to sit well with me and it has to be giving them value. But so many times you can partner up with a complementary business and reach each other's customers. Okay, promote your expertise. So this one kind of links into what I just said about potentially going out into other people's Facebook groups. You can do things like online webinars, get people to register for a webinar and teach them something. One of the things I find when people are looking for business is they withhold their information and their teaching so tightly. Again, this discussion came up in one of our groups the other day where someone was looking for passive income ideas and we talked about things that she could do, but the blocker was there immediately saying, but all this stuff's available for free online. And it's yeah, potentially, but people are still looking for it and there's a million different ways to do it. And the point is you're getting people to resonate with you and how you teach it and how you're an expert in that. It doesn't matter. There's a concept that there's no new content. The idea is there's nothing new that exists now that anybody could teach you. It's all rehashed or expanded stuff or just redesigned. There's nothing new anymore. So don't get sucked into this idea of I'm not doing that because there's loads of other people doing it. So this idea of promoting your expertise is deadly important. People will buy you specifically. So you can hold educational sessions, you can hold workshops, you can do webinars, you can go to networking groups and do a talk. So I often do talks at networking events that are not my events. I'll go and do talks at other people's because I'm building my know, like, and trust. That is the point of all of that. Number 8, use online reviews to your advantage. So ask your customer for reviews, chase them when they don't give them you, because the fact is they want to. I know that there are people watching this that I've asked for a review and you've all said yes, and I know you all intend to, but you're waiting for the right time or waiting until you've got time to sit down and write it. Don't be afraid to chase people for it, but then use your online review. So link to them on your website, link to them on social media, screenshot them and share them on social. Really, really use your testimonials as a way to get new customers to trust you. One of the things I always do, I read reviews for so many things before I buy. If you have readily available reviews, use them to get other people to build confidence in what you're doing in your product or service. 9, participate in community events. So one of the biggest shifts in my business has been this year, where Jade made me start doing local networking events. I start running local events and getting into my actual community where I live. And it's been the best, the most fun, the most rewarding thing that I have done is getting into community events. And I'm really lucky because I work with businesses that I'm getting businesses coming to these events. But when I talk about networking stuff, I'm there's that almost that other part of it that is that community building, that is that relationship building. But there are also charity events and organisations and markets and pop-up stands, and it depends what your business is. There are loads of opportunities to get involved in things like that. I've been asked to speak at like local mental health events that are happening. ThinkFest happened, and the first time I could speak, and then the second time I was away. But it's like local stuff that it helps you reach a completely different audience and helps you promote yourself to new customers again. And then number 10 is bring a friend. Offers around 2 for 1, buy one get one free, bring a friend deals. Claire Mannion did a bring a buddy scheme to one of her online fitness VIP memberships. And it was really, really interesting, really successful. So it's figuring out a deal that fits your business that allows people to bring someone with them. Imagine if everyone brought someone. I mean, that would never happen, but your business would double, obviously. But imagine if just a tenth of people brought someone, that growth starts happening, and lots of people are keen to try things that their friends are doing. They might not want to commit straight away, but they're keen to try it. So if they've got a kind of a no-brainer offer, a no-brainer reason to come and try it, it's a really, really helpful thing. Okay, so they're my 10 tips for how to attract new customers. I'm going to talk a little bit about how to grab their attention, and then about 4 influential factors that attract them. So how to grab their attention, this will always go back to the stuff I talk about all the time, is first of all, make sure you're talking to your ideal clients. So the people who are your perfect people to work with, who you love working with, who you know get the best results with you, who you know put the effort in to get what you're asking them to get and to do what you're asking them to do and to understand what you're asking them to understand. Focus on those people, but when you are focusing on them, pinpoint their pain points. So when we're busy or stressed, we kind of focus more on our immediate needs and less on just everything around us. So you're likely talking to customers who are very busy and getting on with their life. It's critical to understand what's specifically on their mind when you engage with them. So all of your marketing, all of your messaging needs to come back to talking about their actual pain points, like the stuff they're stuck with. And don't move away from that. If you know they are stuck because they're time poor, make all your stuff around, if you don't have enough time, this is what you should do. Really, really pull it back to the stuff that is going to make them nod their head. Make sure that your content is valuable. Don't fluff it out. Get the filters off, hence filter free. It's like no bullshit. Pique their interest and curiosity enough that they want to read everything else that you're putting. Really, really dive to the point, get to the point of the issue, dive deep into it, be clear about everything you're doing. You do not need to pad it out. There is nothing I hate more, and I read loads of them, than reading a book that has literally the teeniest point, but then is expanded for the whole book. So a really good example of this and a really good concept is Mel Robbins' 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, just do it kind of thing. That's the concept. If I'm stuck and I don't know what to do with myself, or I'm not motivated, I'm not getting on with things, I will say to myself, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go, and go and do it. But this is padded out into a huge book. Loads of people read it. Great concept. But it's all fluff. It's all stuff that just doesn't need to be there. I'm sorry, Mel Robbins. Don't be clear, be brief, get to the point while you're trying to attract new customers. It's a bit different when you start nurturing and you're in a different place. But when you're trying to attract new people, it's straight to the pain point, basically. Be clear about why they should use you or your business. So lots of it is you, who you are, the way you work, the ethics that you have, the beliefs you hold. You can talk all about why they should work with you or why you're best placed to help them, the experience you've got. But when it comes to like breaking through the noise, talk about your value in a way that puts your customers at like the center of everything. So mine might be something like, if you are a busy woman in business, here are 5 tips to crack your social media scheduling. Really, really get crisp and clear and talk about what it is they need. Yeah. If you can, elicit an emotional response. So I will talk about things like, I'll tell real life stories. I will talk about stuff that's really happened to me. A woman I met today, like, just told me about some stuff in her past that's stopping her in her future. And my emotional response was insane. I had goosebumps. I want to do anything to help this woman. Emotional responses, don't underestimate how powerful they are in driving your customer to you and to want to work with you. And when I put my scar story out and it was on BBC, like, I have therapy clients all over, but I have one guy specifically that I'm thinking of, who's a guy in Germany. And he specifically contacted me because he resonated with my story and wanted to work with me because of his own stuff. And it's like, that emotional response thing could not be clearer on situations like that. New customers, like, this guy would never have found me or come to work with me. It was purely an emotional response at that point. So there are lots of reasons. One of my other ones is use humor always. If you can get it across in social, do. But the more face-to-face you are, the more you can make people laugh by being kind of self-deprecating and normal. Huge. Humor can really, really hook your audience and get new customers really quickly by just being down to earth and funny. Okay, so 4 factors that attract customers, and these are really obvious. They're pretty corporate, really, but they apply to all businesses. 4 Ps. I talk about these in a more interesting way in one of my selling sessions, I think. But when we talk about the 4 Ps, we talk about product, price, place, promotion. So the product, it might be you might be the product or the service that you are offering, or your product business where you actually have products to sell. But your product choice and product branding have a significant influence on what product your customer will choose. So some of it comes from their own personal preferences, but some of it comes from what you create for them. So I'm thinking specifically of a couple of our cake makers in the group. If they're talking specifically about a cake that brings back some childhood memories for a person and elicits an emotional response, and it's a cake they used to make with their grandma or something, like, just that product choice and the way that that product is being branded is enough. It's enough to get a new customer because it's elicited an emotional response. It's hit the target. It's hit a emotional part, and that can be enough to drive a response. So the product by itself can be enough, and the branding of it, the way in which it's sold, the way in which it's demonstrated to your customer. Price. Now, this is not price in terms of you must be the cheapest. This is price in terms of what people see as having financial value or reasonable in cost for where they are. And this is a really, really tricky one because you can only get your pricing right when you're ready to let go of the people who can't afford you. And that as a concept is tough. I literally last night had the most lovely sounding woman message me about therapy. And once I told her my prices, there was no way she could work with me. And I gave the most lovely service. And I was very much like, there are loads of other therapists around this area that are much cheaper than me. My pricing is now determined on my experience and my capacity. I'm busy all the time. And we had the most lovely conversation. Every bit of me is fighting from reducing my prices. But realistically, I don't have space anyway. It would be over a month wait. It's not my focus. But either way, my prices are my prices. And I'm full and busy. You have to find the one for your ideal customers. Consumers will pay for what they see value in. And that is not the same as how much something costs. And we can see it play out all day, every day. You will pay more to go to the cinema than to stay at home and watch film. You'll pay more for a coffee outside of the house than you will in the house. It's not about the product that you are paying for. It's about the experience you have with that product. I talk about in one of my sessions again, like the Tiffany have a gold paperclip, and it is just a paperclip. It does nothing. It is a paperclip, and it's £1,800, I think, or dollars, either way. It's a paperclip. I'm not fucking joking. There's no added value in that. People are paying for the experience of going to Tiffany, of having it in a wrapped box, blah, blah, blah. What do you buy? The person has everything. Apparently an 1,800 quid Tiffany paperclip. People will pay anything for anything. It is about your ideal customer and the way you brand it and how much value your ideal client that you're pitching to sees in that product. Really important. Again, this morning in networking, I did a talk on imposter syndrome. I could be doing that exact same talk on a corporate stage and me getting paid thousands. The talk could be exactly the same. There is no actual difference in price. The difference is in who I'm pitching it to, who I want to talk to. Like, the price is not a thing, but you have to know your price for your audience, and that's the important part. What is a good price for my ideal client? Place, another big one. Some people will only buy from shops. Some people will only buy online. Most of us are somewhere in the middle, but we still might have a preference. If I need something quickly, I am more likely to overpay Amazon for it to come tomorrow than to drag my butt out to the shop. Whereas Tom would go to Tesco and buy something. And we have a totally different kind of response to that stuff. The place part is important, but all of that's about knowing your ideal client. And then promotion plays into the pricing factor for short and long term goods and services. So I could promote, well, I do. So if you work with me in therapy, your initial session is 120, I think now. Your initial session is 120. And then after that, your prices are more or the same if you buy a package. But that promotion is very much it's not an introductory session, it's just an initial session, is slightly cheaper. And so I can promote that really easily. Occasionally, I do something I call sort your shit sessions, and they're usually £99 for an hour, and they're one-off sessions, and you can just have an hour with me, and they will sell really well. But I promote them specifically as they are. Doing flash sales or 24-hour sales, or I have 5 of these in stock. Like, the promotion part can play a huge bit in it. And first-time customers are likely to purchase long or short-term goods depending on the initial promotional price if they believe that the product and price is worth it in the long run. So HelloFresh is a great example of this. I've used HelloFresh. I still use it on and off, but I'm really smart about I need to get it for the best price because that really matters to me. So often they have 60% off your first box and 40% off the 4 after that, and then full price after that. And so I will generally have it at 60% off my first box. I might, in lockdown, we had it the whole time. I might have it for 40% off for the other 4, but then I'm cancelling it immediately on that point because that's what kind of shopper I am. Now, I'm therefore not HelloFresh's perfect customer, because the perfect customer would just carry it on because the ease, the product ease, the branding around it, the price is acceptable. And it really is if you actually compare it. The place, it comes direct to your door, and it had a good promotion to hook you in. Like, that's a good enough reason for a lot of the time. And HelloFresh is a really good example of how using an initial promotion plays out into a long-term gain for lots of it. They also do a clever thing where they offer coupons then to offer out to your friends and family to pull them in on exactly the same concept. It's a really, really clever marketing idea. Okay, so that's it. Loads of new ideas for new customers. Lots of this will work for old customers as well, or current customers, or past customers. Know how you talk to them. Or we'll go back always to ideal client. If you know who your ideal client is, then all we have to do from there is figure out how you talk to them. And there's a big ideal client module in Business Club if you're interested. So if you are, drop me a message, tag it on here, or go to filterfreebusiness.com / I'm going to say business-club. I'm pretty sure that's it. And there's some online business support involved with that. Right. I'm off on the school run now. First one for weeks. I don't even know if I can remember where school is. See how many of my children are crying. One or both, almost certainly. But I'm so glad to be back at work because, yeah, it's my utter passion. All right, have a great week. I'm not here on Monday because it is Strategy Day. So if you're not coming on Strategy Day, there is still a place. I feel like I've been saying this for ages, and there's still a place on Strategy Day. So Strategy Day is a full day. It's 10 till 4, where we do a proper deep dive into your business and knock up a real business plan that you can follow for the next 3 months, for the next 90 days. It's catered, there's lunch, there's parking, all included in it. It is one of my favourite things to run. I think this is our 4th session now. Yeah, I think our 4th session. And it's just fab. So yeah, feel free to come along on that. You don't have to have been involved with any of our stuff before. You're so welcome. All right, have a fab week, and I will talk to you whenever I'm next scheduled to be live. All right, ladies, bye.